Have you ever felt like your life is buried under the weight of problems, so heavy that it seems there is no light, no hope, no way to rise above it? If your answer is yes, then this story is exactly for you. This is the story of a young man who thought his whole world was nothing but a swamp. Until one flower. Rohit was a 23-year-old Indian man living in a slum neighborhood, a place where the roofs were made of metal sheets and the walls were patched with wood and plastic. Every morning, he woke up to the sound of neighbors arguing, and every night he fell asleep to the noise of old generators. He was unemployed. His father was sick. His mother worked long hours as a laborer. Every day, Rohit asked himself, "Why is my life like this? Why am I stuck here? Is it even possible to get out of this?" Every time he looked around, all he could see was poverty, the smell of dampness, and doors that never seemed to open. He felt like he was trapped in a never-ending swamp. One hot, humid summer morning, after being rejected yet again in a job interview, Rohit walked toward the river behind the slum, a place he had known since childhood, where lotus flowers often grew beside the muddy water. He had seen lotus flowers there many times before, but that day, something caught his attention. It wasn't just the flower itself, but the way it stood on the surface of the water. Still, clear, calm, as if it had nothing to do with the filth beneath it. Rohit stopped. It was as if, for the first time, he was really seeing the lotus. He leaned closer to the water and whispered, "How can you stay this clean in the middle of all this?" At that moment, his eyes drifted to the other side of the pond. On the other side of the pond, under the shade of a fig tree, an old man was sitting cross-legged, wearing simple clothes, eyes closed, deep in meditation. The sound of his calm breathing mixed with the soft sound of the water. Rohit hesitated for a moment, then walked toward him. Before Rohit could say anything, the old man opened his eyes and smiled gently, as if he already knew exactly why Rohit had come. Rohit sat down and said, "I want to know something. This lotus flower, how can it grow so beautifully in the middle of so much mud? What is the wisdom behind it?" The old man set his walking stick aside, looked at the pond, and said, "This is the secret of the lotus, my son." The old man said, "The lotus begins its life in the worst conditions, but it never allows those conditions to define its identity. The lotus forms beneath dark water, grows through thick mud, but when it rises to the surface, it chooses only the light, not the dirt. You think that because you were born in a slum, because you have been poor, because no one helped you, you are destined to stay here forever. No, my son, those were only your starting point, not your final destination. This flower is telling you, if you choose the path of light, even if you are surrounded by mud, you can still bloom." That night, Rohit replayed every word of the old man over and over in his mind. For the first time, he told himself, "Maybe the problem isn't where I am. Maybe the problem is the decisions I haven't made yet." He started small. He began learning English on a borrowed phone. He watched free programming courses online. He took small part-time jobs just to pay for internet and a little food. Day by day, even if it was only 30 minutes, he studied. But he did it every single day. Slowly, things began to change. If you too are in the middle of hard conditions, if you feel stuck, if your soul feels heavy under the weight of a muddy life, remember this: The lotus is the most beautiful flower because it begins from the worst places. You can do the same. You may not be able to change everything overnight, but you can choose to move a little closer to the light every day. Maybe right now you are just a small bud under the surface and no one can see you. But that does not mean there isn't a future waiting for you above the water. You are not forced to become like the mud around you. You can choose to be like the lotus upon the water.